We watch a lot of movies. We love them. One of the sort of, I don't know, downsides at IGN is we always focus on the big, huge blockbuster stuff because that does well. We talk about Spider-Man, we talk about Deadpool, we talk about the DC stuff, but we don't get a chance to talk about the weird, smaller things that more often than not we wind up completely falling in love with. So we wanted to recommend to you guys some stuff that maybe went under your radar, starting with The Void, which is coming to Netflix, I believe, next week. This is a bizarre indie horror movie that came kind of out of nowhere. It's creepy as hell. It's got its roots very firmly in kind of John Carpenter stuff, and it's got just awesome practical effects.
Yeah, it's very fascinating from a premise perspective because it sort of acts as a sequel to a horror movie that you've never seen because they never made it. When the characters start off in this movie, they're in peril, and it only gets worse from there. To me, it reminds me of a lot of sort of 90s vintage horror video games, like stuff like Resident Evil, stuff like Silent Hill, stuff that's sort of like contained horror in a weird place where things only get weirder and weirder, there's no explanation, and it's just grim, visceral, and disgusting. And I love this movie. I was a little originally sort of like, you know, kind of weirded out by the fact that they were leaning so heavily into that kind of Stranger Things, neon laser grid aesthetic.
It's got a very
really not about
aesthetic,
that.
But no, it's cool. Stop showing it. Everyone go watch it. It's on Netflix next week. What's not on Netflix just yet, but probably will be eventually, is a movie called Raw that I just saw.
You can watch all these movies on either rent them or buy them or whatever you want through Amazon, through Netflix, all that.
I think I rented Raw through Amazon. It is a French movie. Let's see, how do I describe this? It is a French kind of coming-of-age movie about veterinarian school that also involves cannibalism, and it's just revolting.
Yes.
It has some of the most, like, without doing the thing where I would say it's quality over quantity of gore. There's definitely a lot of it, but the way it's presented is the kind of thing that's just disgusting.
Yeah, some of you may have seen the trailer for this playing before Logan. I know Max and I did, and we were all just sort of gasping in the theater being like, what is this?
Yeah.
And I kept saying to myself, like, when's a good time to watch this? Because I want to make sure that, you know, I can pay full attention to it. I don't know if I want to see it in the theater with a cheeseburger or anything like that. But yeah, this is very, very different than any other movie I've seen in the last few years. It's not necessarily a horror movie, although it does have those elements, and it's not necessarily a zombie movie, although it does have those elements too.
I mean, we're already, I think, saying too much, but it's incredibly stylized. You know, full warning, it is subtitled, so if that's a deal breaker for you, you might want to pass. But it's just upsetting, but in like a really cool way. So check that out. Killer soundtrack too.
Yeah, it's sort of sexy and disgusting at the same time.
It's French.
It's French.
So yeah, on the subject of eating people, why would we not stop talking about that? Bone Tomahawk is another one. This came out.
Welcome to IGN's top 5 cannibal movies. No, Bone Tomahawk came out about 2 years ago. It's got Kurt Russell and a bunch of other great actors in it, and including Matthew Fox from Lost. It was really interesting to see him in a movie again. So the premise here is that a stranger shows up to town having done something horrible and pissing off an entire group of cannibals who now take vengeance on this town by kidnapping a woman, taking her out into the lost woods, and these 4 characters have to go and find her. Doing that back in the day with limited weaponry and no iPhone is a terrifying prospect. Many of them say goodbye to their wives and head out into the night. And what happens from there is a really interesting, very sort of violent take on classic westerns.
Yeah.
We've gotten a lot of westerns in the last few years, like, you know, that have worked in some ways and haven't in others. But this is a movie that you almost definitely didn't see. It's on Amazon Prime streaming, so if you already pay for that to get your, you know, your package.
I looked it up. I don't know if it's still on Prime, but you can rent it.
No, I just watched it like 3 days ago.
Okay, cool. Well, good. Yeah, also, if you're hyped for Red Dead Redemption, this is a pretty safe bet to, if you're looking at something that maybe explores the more gruesome side of the Wild West.
Yeah, it's also a much more violent and disgusting take on the sort of cowboys and Indians thing, because they very early say, this is not Indians, this is a cannibalistic tribe of animal monster people. So go check that out. You're going to love it.
Go watch it. Speaking of monster people, we just mentioned it, but Kong, Skull Island.
Yeah.
Go check it out. If you missed that, it's obviously that's in a considerably higher budget category than the rest of these movies, but like, yeah, that was fun. It was a really good time.
Yeah, really.
I kind of am kicking myself for not seeing it in theaters. I think we're in this spot right now where there are like these kind of art house darlings. I just went and watched Baby Driver last night, which is the new movie from Edgar Wright. It was cool, but like, I don't know. Like I think expectations play a lot of what you get with movies. And you know, I go and I see the big, huge AAA blockbuster Marvel movies, and I go and see the kind of more critically acclaimed stuff. And this fell kind of directly in the middle there.
Yeah. This was kind of like a B plus of a film.
And that's fine.
And
like
that's
monster
fine,
movies
right?
are stupid sometimes, and like I think WB has taken their time building the Universal monster. No, not even that. The Kaiju Godzilla King of the
Kaiju-verse?
Monsters, whatever the hell it's called. But yeah, it's setting up a bunch of monsters fighting each other on the big screen, which is cool because like it's not dudes in rubber suits. It's like that stuff. So
yeah, to me this evoked a lot of the same feelings I had the first time watching a movie like Jurassic Park, where there was just like this sense of fear and wonder around every corner. You would see characters turn and be like, what is that?
Yeah.
What, like, you feel like you're on an adventure with them.
Yeah.
And in the same sort of sense you felt playing something like Breath of the Wild or any other kind of big adventure video game. It's really fun, it's full of surprises, and it's just really good to look at.
Yeah, so if you're also a big fan of guts and special effects and things, and I don't know, you don't want to pay any money for anything, check out what Neil Blomkamp's doing. He's started this thing called Oats Studios. They're on YouTube. It's just oats, like the breakfast. I don't know where.
Or like a horse's
Yeah,
food.
horse's favorite food studios. And there are 2 shorts he put up. They're like 20-minute long, kind of somewhere between a short film, an episode of something, and one of them is called Raqqa, and the other one's called Firebase. I haven't watched Firebase yet, but Raqqa is about, if I had to totally break it down, it feels like Terminator, but with psychic lizard people instead of robots. And
yeah, I'm in.
It's pretty cool. What's really interesting is these are free, and they're gorgeous, like big budget looking sci-fi monster movie things. And he's got like a donation link, so if you really love it, you can go kick him a few bucks. I think he's going to be putting them out on Blu-ray as like a collection type of thing. Even weirder, he's selling the 3D assets used to make these on Steam, which is something that no one's ever done before. So if you were the kind of person who makes movies for fun, or you make games, or I don't even know how you do this, it's a few bucks to get an incredibly high-resolution render of that guy or a zombie or whatever. So
yeah, I love seeing stuff like that from creators. There was a couple years ago, Trent Reznor put all the sort of like just stacked versions of his songs out, and he's like, remix them. Take my assets, take the stems, and just tear them apart.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's nice to see Neil Blomkamp doing that. I mean, at one point he was attached to doing a Halo movie. I don't know. Maybe he'll get thrown at something really cool and big again. I mean, I think Chappie's sort of disappointed at the box office, but like, it's a cool ass movie. Everyone's like, oh, yeah. Chappie's stupid. It's like, yeah, compared to what? Like, go see like the Despicable Me 3, you goon.
Go watch Short Circuit. That's a stupid movie.
Hey, we sure love movies here at Up at Noon. Check out our interview with Charlton Copley. We asked him weird questions about the Neil Blomkamp Aliens movie that never happened, and check out our rundown of our favorite movies of 2016, even though 2017 is about half over. And check out Up at Noon every Thursday at noon Pacific time right here on IGN, and may the Force be with you. I love you. Good night.